the style of cooking that we're doing. Southern barbecue with a Korean pantry. We had a lot of blowback at the beginning. People would walk up and see crispy tofu, Korean sweet potatoes, cucumber radish banchan, spicy Korean pork sandwich on the special board outside. And they would go, whoop, and then turn around. Because the sign just says barbecue, right? And then they read those items and like, where am I?
Asian food.
Yeah.
Can I get 2 chicken wings separate, macaroni, collard, quarter collard, macaroni.
Macaroni tray separate.
So right here in this box is something we marinate every Monday, but we call it the kalbi beef rib. We've been doing it since about 2012. So we have this very special beef rib, very limited, 72-hour marinade kalbi beef rib with the array of banchan, because we think that beef rib is so fatty, so unctuous, that's all you really need is just to cut the meat, eat it with a little banchan. You don't need anything, we kind of choose it for you. But it's one of our most requested items. When we took it away, people call. This is basically our take on the Texas salt and pepper beef rib. Last thing we do before we leave is put these on the smoker. They usually take 10 hours is a good strike zone for this one.
Prepping for the banchan or beef rib today. Korean, we call banchan the side dishes. That balance out whatever the main soup or meat. We actually adopt that idea to Heirloom. So this is our cabbage. So there's just some red cabbage, white cabbage, and carrots, all the healthy stuff. And we're adding the vinegar. It's a rice vinegar. This is gochugaru. It's a red chili pepper powder. Pretty staple for Korean cuisine. And we set for at least 2-3 days. It developed the flavor. And as you can see, this is coleslaw, but the spicy version. So to us, without banchan, it can't be complete. Even when people eating pizza in Korea, they eat the Korean pickle.
Back when I would take her place, she's like, you order brisket, sausage, potato salad, and there's like one slaw.
So I always order collard green and coleslaw. This is banchan.
Yeah.
So next banchan, actually Chef Cody invented. He stole my recipe though. In Korea, we don't eat green tomato. So this is very sudden to me, and it's really, really good. Love the crunchiness and the sweetness and acid, and jalapenos, my favorite. Adding some red radish, just before we serve actually, because we don't want wilted. Let me taste. I always taste. Oh, so crunchy. So the next banchan is a cucumber radish salad. The radish, it's a tenderizer too. Gochugaru and garlic and some ginger, sugar, and just mix it. Gracias.
So we just got our big delivery from Buford Highways Farmers Market. It's kind of like the engine that rolls our flavor.
But they always pick the high quality, the pantry items from Korea.
If it wasn't for them, it's very hard to find these ingredients. Like one can at a family of 6 sometimes can last you for months, like this big. We go through 4 or 5 of these a week, just making barbecue sauce and our rubs. We're a very small restaurant, a roadside shack, as you will, but we go through more gochujang than any Korean restaurant. But we go through about 4 or 5 of these cans a week, just making barbecue sauce and our rubs. Yeah, we know we go through the most because
That's what they say.
That's what they say. They think it's crazy. No, these are spare ribs.
I love spare ribs. It's more meat.
A little more fat. The fat's the flavor and it balances well with all our kimchis.
Now, first time I tried to peel the film back there, it was pretty hard. So I kind of figured out with the chopstick. I'm small, right? I don't have the strength. When I trim the ribs, so I use metal chopstick, and it works like a surgery. So you kind of go through here. Maybe some pitmasters will laugh at me, but this kind of work. So I lift it and then peel like Ta-da! And he saw that like, well, that works.
There you go. So after we peel the spare ribs, what we do is we just take a little bit of our gochujang with what we call Georgia rub here and kind of season very little in the back. That's just really just help catching the smoke. The gochujang with the extra seasonings is such a concentrated flavor. So then you flip them over. You put too much, it tends to burn if the smoker's at a higher heat. It captures the smoke sticks to it. It's easier to season evenly, and it adds the flavor balance that we're looking for to kind of go with our side items, I think. We were definitely the first ones when I put gochujang on ribs. Even like some of the barbecue writers say we were kind of the first ones to add full-on noticeable Asian cuisine into barbecue. I definitely know that as far as like, unless Korean Americans were doing it at home, but as far as like in barbecue restaurants, we were the first. It doesn't necessarily matter, but it's almost like our all-purpose seasoning. As where in gochujang in Korea, it's almost like their ketchup, mayonnaise, and mustard combined, right? It's like their all-purpose condiment. You know, being as Southern and Texan as I am, and being as traditional Korean as she is, for us to do it was more like a natural thing, and not like we sat down and made it up or had a test kitchen. We literally brought ingredients from our house and just started doing it. Right before we load them, we'll add a little bit of black pepper, just a little bit extra, and hit it like this. Then we'll load it on the smoker.
I'm making a soup, doenjang soup for injection for brisket. Doenjang is a Korean miso, and quite a amount of ginger. This soup helping brisket tenderizing too. When you go to some authentic Korean barbecue restaurant, they give you the doenjang soup. It's like sizzling, boiling, soup, and you eat with the beef or pork. Without that, to me, it's not complete. The flavor is connected to me. I use a lot of memories through my childhood with my grandmother and my mom, and I remember the flavors, and I found the connections between Southern food and Korean food a lot through the memories. Brisket is such a tough meat. It'll help tenderize the meat and also that extra flavor, umami flavor to it.
This is the miso injection that Chef Jiyeon made earlier. So we're just gonna hit it with a turkey injector probably about 20 times a brisket. So it's about an inch and a half, like that. But at the same time as you see the liquids coming in and out of it, it's also acting as our paste for our rub. I like to inject the top end pretty heavy. I mean, you see a lot of competition cooks inject. You won't see the big brisket guys in Texas inject because they go through so much. This is what we call our Texas rub. Really the main differences is salt, pepper. We add a beef dashita, tiny bit of Korean MSG. We don't put a ton of MSG in anything, but I think the balance of the beefiness of that ingredient was really nice. We also put the gochugaru, the Korean red pepper flake, and you'll see quite a bit of black pepper. There's also going to be some cumin, tiny bit of touch of granulated garlic, onion, chili powder. When I met Miguel from Valentina's in Austin and I saw his Smoke Point show, I was like, oh gosh, he's naming like every ingredient that I use besides the dashita and red pepper flake. Yeah. It's like, oh, I hope he doesn't think I stole it from him. I mean, I started working in restaurants at a very young age, so I kind of stuck with it, went to culinary school, and I've been working in and around Atlanta since 2001. It's a long time here.
Mine is more dramatic transition. Now I came from Korea, and my background, I was first generation K-pop. 1988, my first album came out. I have 4 albums, very hit. There was some love and hate that I quit, and I moved to Atlanta 1999. It was a huge opportunity to do something new.
She didn't tell you she made 4 #1 albums in Korea?
I did.
Okay.
I just said that. I didn't say number one.
She was Britney Spears of K-pop. The HM hot chicken sandwich is something that customers kept requesting me because it's been a very trendy item over the last 5 years. And I refuse to do it when it's like a height of its trend. I wait for it to kind of die, and then here's a hot chicken sandwich. So, I worked at one of the famous fried chicken places everybody knows. I don't know if you want me to say Chick-fil-A back when I was in high school. But they would take all their pickle juice and marinate their chicken for the grilled chicken. And I never forgot that because it was just super stupid smart. So we just marinate the chicken really quick, chicken thighs, in a pickle juice brine, 24 hours. Then we take it out of that. We marinated buttermilk, 24 hours. Then we put it in a KFC flour, which is a Korean fried chicken flour. Has a little bit of rice flour, a little different seasonings in it. That way it gets a little bit crispy. One of the things that we did is we take more fermented kimchi, where most of the kimchis we do here are 1 day to 1 week. We take that, we roast it over the firebox just to kind of dry it a little bit, kind of smoke, roast, toast it a little bit. So we just take it straight in here where the coals are kind of set, and we just put it in. So we just set it right here in the coal box here. You kind of see, you just let it sit for a little bit. Sometimes you can hear it. You hear a little snap, crackle, pop. It really just adds that little bit of kind of toasted, somewhat barbecue flavor to the sandwich. Because I always thought when I got hot chicken, they only give you like 1 pickle or 2 pickles. So we do 3 different kinds of pickles. Kimchi's kind of a pickle. We do a pickled radish. We do a kimchi pickled cucumber also. So there's a lot of pickles, a lot of spice, kind of balances out.
Way he does is still have that crunchiness. Keep the crunchiness. I think that's the best part.
For me, it was just a way to toast it with a different flavor, you know, directly on the fire. That's just the thought process. It's like I have live coals. Why am I gonna cook it in a pan? I might as well come out here and cook it on the coals.
How do you understand Korean flavor? Really good. We hung out too long. So he really became very creative, but it makes sense.
When you go to the Korean barbecue that has the flat top tilted and all the pork fat runs from the top, and then the kimchi at the bottom just gets kind of crispy and fried. I'll wait for that, and that's kind of what I was shooting for with that kimchi. I like the color a little bit more like this. You see, you can smell it a little bit too. Smell a little bit of that toasted kimchi, charcoal, kind of that, it's burning pepper also. The gochugaru, you'll see, we use almost like people use black pepper in Texas or white pepper in different cuisines. It takes a little bit of that sauerkraut out of the kimchi, but also you kind of get the crunch, you still get, it becomes like a different pickle. So here we're gonna make our hot chicken liquid powder spice. I gotta be really careful with that, so you don't wanna touch your face. So when I actually make the seasoning a lot, I kind of do it with no wind, in a little room with a mask and sunglasses on. So we make this every day. In Nashville terms, it's a very solid hot. It's not that extra hot, that skip over hot. The gochujairu's in here. The gochujang and the sriracha kind of create a paste that coats it really well. So this is the old secret that started at Princess, which is in Nashville. I mean, they hit it with hot oil. So that's something we invented. We put a lot of love into our hot chicken sandwich. Then we taste it. It's good. Hot. It's good though. It's gotta be hot, right? So we fry the chicken order. We toss it in a brown butter, gochujang, ghost pepper, seasoning, cayenne, kind of hot chicken based. Put it on a local TGM bun. Serve it with pickled radish, cucumber kimchi, kimchi mayo. So for service today, we're pulling the last of our ribs off. We're pulling the last 2 racks of the kalbi marinated beef ribs and our gochujang marinated spare ribs. We touch it right at the end, right when they come off, just kind of a lacquer before we wrap them. Hit a little bit of a KB sauce is what we call it. It's our Korean barbecue sauce. So these are also the last 2 kalbi marinated beef ribs. Yeah, this is the final ribs to go to the banchan plate. It's about to be 11 o'clock. It's always a nerve-wracking time, about to open up the doors. Big rush is coming, catering's going out. Time to get inside.
Macaroni tray special, coleslaw, room free hole.
When this place gets cranking and rolling, it's kind of like the craziest little game of Tetris, you know? I mean, for me, I always wanted it to be a roadside barbecue shack with some touch. I refer to it as the barbecue shack down by the river, if you know Chris Farley, because we're right next to Chattahoochee. And we never moved on to bigger, easier pastures. We always kind of stayed here because we didn't want to open up multiples because we always wanted to be small. Yeah.
And to me, when customers order the brisket with some banchan, instead of French fries or something. That make me happy, you know. The way the eating barbecue or anything, when they find out the balance, that make me really happy. That's all about for Heirloom, I think.